and Jasay City and around the world. Welcome to another episode of Chicago's Intellectuals Podcast. And today we have none other than William Jefferson. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing good, brother. How about you?
I'm hanging in there, bro. I'm hanging in there. I'm getting better every day, getting better every day. I just like to see things and people grow. So let's jump right into it. Who are you? Who is William Jefferson? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, so William Jefferson Jr.
Okay.
actually grew up on the south side of Chicago, born and raised in Bronzeville. Grew up right on from Wabash to State Street. Background of 54th and Calumet.
Okay. Legendary block. Legendary
yes,
block. Okay.
Yes. I lived with my mother and my grandmother and my Aunt Barbara, who was born in Alabama, and they came to Chicago. My grandmother came to Chicago, and everybody else, all her brothers and sisters, followed her on the 54th and Calumet, which led from my Aunt Barbara, who owned a soul food restaurant right there on 51st and Prairie. So I grew up with them.
Okay.
And me being really the only man, I had to be like the lead, So I went to Beasley right there.
Yeah, Beasley. I remember when they built Beasley. I remember that.
Yep. Went to Beasley. I lived a little bit in Hyde Park too. Because I went from Beasley to Kosminski back to Beasley. Then went to Simeon, class of 13.
Okay.
And after Simeon, I went to a small historical Black college, Miles College, the best HBCU in the world.
Okay.
And in Alabama.
Uh-huh.
So I went back, to where my family's at. They stayed in Union Springs. Miles College is in Birmingham, so it's about a few hours away. So I would go see them on the holidays. But yeah, so I got a little bit of Southern in me and city.
Yeah.
And so I love it. I love everything from my 26 years of life, and I'm growing, I'm learning each and every day. I appreciate everybody in my family, as far as like my uncles and my cousins. I had a lot of male role models that made sure I was on my task and made sure that I was in school. They stayed on me. And there was times that, I was, get distracted, but they made sure they stayed on me.
Yeah.
So I love them dearly. My Uncle Junior, my big cousin Jerome, may he rest in peace. They always was like on me because, I grew up, without my father, but I still knew my father, still would see him time to time, but I didn't have him, as a role model to look up to as far as male, on the male side.
Yeah. Interesting. Fun fact about Miles College. I don't know if you knew this. And that's a great story how that came full circle, right? So your Uncle James and my cousin Faye. I have a first cousin in Alabama named Faye. They were like best friends as teenagers, right? They went to Miles College together.
Wow.
Yeah, they went to Miles College together, and they were a part of that crowd who was being sprayed by the hoses and had the dog sicked on them.
What?
In the 60s in Alabama. Yes.
Yeah. Wow, that is
that's
history. And
that is history.
And I respect, my ancestors and the people that fought for us to, get an education.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. So what are your values, Will?
What are my values? I would say making, it's crazy because I'm always making other people happy. I just like to see a smile on people's face, because I'm like somewhat of like a free spirit person, open-minded person, just always willing to give. And because, I look at things like as life, like appreciate life.
Yeah.
We here on this earth, we're breathing, we have goals and things that we need to accomplish. We're here for a reason. And so me as a child of God, I want to just spread, that awareness to people, and to let them know that, everything is temporary, and whatever it is that you're going through, somebody else is going through it too. You're not alone.
Or somebody else is going through something even worse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And there's they're probably not even showing it, or they're going through it, and nobody knows, Yeah. And so my value is to just encourage other people and to let them know that it's not all that bad. Just sit back and think about it. And, it's not all that bad, whether you're going through it spiritually, physically, financially, all of the above. And those are the things that we go through on an everyday basis. So my value is, encouraging and supporting one another. And sometimes encouraging other people, it reminds me of myself. Like, okay, because sometimes I forget about me, or I'll be down sometimes. Because sometimes people think like, oh, well, you, people, I don't know where they get this perfect life from, because it's nobody's perfect. But there's been times where, I'm down, because somebody else is down, or sometimes I'll just be like, oh man, I don't have enough for this, or I'm spiritually not here, I haven't been going to church, or I haven't been reading the Bible, or et cetera, just like everything. Me being as an actor, I'm just like, okay, I'm not booking, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, but I just have to sometimes sit back and just appreciate where I am, where I came from, and where I'm trying to go.
Yes, that's a great value system. I would only add that, and you're absolutely right. We all have our ups and our downs, right? One of my early mentors told me that during those down times, the best remedy is to help someone else. During your down times, you go and help someone else. And at the time, it didn't make sense, but it absolutely works, right? Because energy is transferable, right? Mm-hmm. In turn, you're making somebody happy, and you're receiving happiness as well as a result of it. Yeah, so that's a great value system. So I want to ask you, like, who and what were some of your early influencers? I know you talked about, some males in your life. Did you have like other activities or people in general that influenced you heavily to be the man that you are now?
Man, I already really talked about, now that I think about it, I had so many. So I could just be like naming like all the time. It's just so crazy how, God had all these people just sending to me, like, and I took every last person's advice and just put it all together. Like, you know, from my babysitter growing up, making sure that it was just like all the same thing, that I was just, you know, on task and just, you know, being in school. And it was not even being in school. It was just like my mother, for example, she gave me choices in life. She would always say, you know, this is what's going on. You always have a choice. It's up to you to make that choice. Either going to be, you know, a great choice or bad choice. And if the bad choice is going to be a consequence.
Yes.
So she would always warn me. Same thing with my grandmother. They would always warn me. It's like, hey, you know, if you want to go out there and if you want to, you know, do what it is that you want to do, you want to hang out with the wrong crowd and something happened, you know, that's just going to be on you, you know, because I warned you and I told you already. Yeah. And so I'm glad that I listened, because I always really had a mind of my own. You know, I was never a follower anyways. I feel like that was just something that that God just had me be as a natural leader. And so there's times where, you know, I'm like, I see the other kids doing stuff and I'm like, I want to do that too. But I think about what my mom and my grandmother would tell me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, you know? And so those really too are like my role models.
Yeah, that's great, man.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right into it. What is William working on these days? What are you working on?
What is William working on these days? William is working on so much, and I'm so thankful and grateful for that, because a lot of people can't say that. I've been putting in the work in the network. Officially, I've been a professional actor for 3 years. And so I've just built my network through, you know, social media and listening to a lot of stuff on like YouTube. YouTube has helped me out a lot with meeting people in the industry. And so right now, I got a couple of stuff. So right now, me and my friends, we're putting together a horror series called The Puppet. And it's about this doll that is creepy, like it's really, really creepy, on some Chucky and Annabelle type stuff. So right now, me and my friends did a trailer, and you can follow it on Instagram at the Puppet series. And we've won in film festivals already just for the trailer. Just for the trailer. So I'm helping casting, and I'm also a lead in the film. And so I've been enjoying doing this, because we get to create our own. This is a time where we're creating our own content instead of waiting on an opportunity and waiting for Hollywood to give us that confirmation. And so just being around a bunch of well-minded people, they were just telling me, like, you know, it's time to write, it's time to you know, direct, it's time to, you know, create your own. And so that's just one of the things that I'm doing, besides, you know, auditioning for like all the shows here. So I've been dipping my hands into writing with other filmmakers, assistant directing, and helping casting for whatever projects that people have. So I've been dipping in a little bit of all three. And so I definitely would want to say Tyler Perry is definitely a role model for me, looking up to him, seeing what he's done for people. Going back from the last question, yes, Tyler Perry would be a role model to me, and I would love to meet him. And I will. I'm this close to meeting Tyler Perry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to take a moment to extend appreciation for the work that you've put in and the fact that you're a young man from Chicago, from some of the toughest areas in Chicago on the South Side. And in the face of all that goes on, in the face of adversity, you persevered and you're continuing to produce and follow your dreams. You know what I mean? Because that's the whole purpose of this podcast. So that is an intellectual in a nutshell. Okay.
Yeah.
Because of course we see so many negative examples. We're bombarded with negative examples of young people from the city of Chicago. But are you presently in Chicago right now?
Yeah, I'm presently in Chicago, in Bronzeville.
You're doing your work in Chicago.
Yeah.
You have a positive attitude. You're being responsible. All of the things that the world would expect of a productive member of society, you are doing as a young Black man in Chicago.
Yeah, and I'm a community, activist as well. So like anything that Bronzeville has going on, like giving back, donating, I'm just like finding like different groups to work with and just make our community a better community, because Bronzeville has definitely been on a come up,
Yeah.
and I'm loving it. And so the goal one day is to bring back a school for African American or just anybody, but really, my focus is to bring African American males that want to get into the arts, and bring a school for acting, dancing, music, because I feel like that's well needed in Inglewood, Hyde Park, or Bronzeville. Like just like a little center, and having full of mentors, coaches, instructors just coming in there, giving opportunities to African American guys that want to do this.
Yeah.
And just don't have any support system at home, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of African American guys that want to do the arts and the entertainment, but they just don't have that support system.
Yeah.
And I know this for sure because I've been in. I'm also a teacher assistant, and I just be like in the streets, like as far as the community events. And so I've asked these questions and ask well, what are your goals, what do you want to do? And I'll hear all the time, well, I want to do this, but my mom just don't think that that's the right thing to do, or I got to take care of my little sisters and my little brother while my mom is gone out to work all day. So I'm hustling in the streets, so I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I'm just like, man,
Yeah. That's really powerful. As a young man, I remember you were a part of our youth program, right? And what you just explained was the premise for the program, right? To afford our young people the opportunity to broaden their scope, right? To broaden their base, to be exposed to different opportunities and resources and see that they have value as well as anybody else, right? And, as you well know, as a result, many of you were influenced. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yes, most definitely. Yeah, so the program, it was CYEDC, right?
Yes.
Okay, I get it mixed up with the dance group CYDC. Yeah. There's a dance group called CYDC, but it's CYEDC. And I remember I was a freshman at Simeon, and I remember mom telling me, like, Rodney wants you to join his program, and I was just like, okay, I'm all down for it. Of course, it's my god brother, I'm gonna be there. So went downtown and had my cousin Nene with me, and see these other people there, and I just seen lights, cameras, and I'm like, okay, this is something that I want to do. This is something I want to do, and spot on questions. I'm like, I wasn't prepared. I was just like, whatever came to mind, I was just gonna say. But I did, sit back and listen. And I enjoyed it. I really, really did. Going every Saturday downtown in the building of Columbia, and we would have snacks, and it'd just be a really good vibe. High school students, from all different kind of like backgrounds, and it was just the best thing ever. Talking about, it was a really good safe space, and we talked about literally everything, and it got deep.
It got deep. It got
real
really
deep. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to talk about my problems here, like, or I was like, but it felt like a safe space. It felt like nobody was judgmental. Everybody had an opinion. We was very respectable, and it was just everything and more. And I was just so upset when it was gone, because it was well needed. And like, I would tell people at my school, I'm like, y'all gotta come to this, so I would bring like one or two of my friends. But at the time, like, I think we did it for a good couple months. And then I believe we moved it.
Right.
It was right down, I think it was still in Bronzeville area.
We did some field house. We did Northeastern Illinois University.
Yeah.
A lot of different locations. But the point being is that, not only are you taking up the idle time of young teenagers, but you're also providing them with a safe space, as you said, and exposure, opportunity, resources, and just,
yes, for sure,
the ability to lead. Because as you remember, we would have these groups, we would have these big circles, and each one of you would be charged with coming to the group with a topic of discussion, and you lead the discussion. We did not let the adults lead the discussion.
Yeah.
And we were always respectful. We always set the tone. We let everybody know no one could talk over each other, take it personal, and we didn't go back and tell the parents if there were like controversial content that came up. Make sure we handled that in-house, right? And as a result,
and everybody turned out great.
Yes.
Everybody stayed connected. It was just like a bond forever, and I just wished, it was like really, really filmed like as a show or something, to like, and like I think that would have been pretty big. But even with it all being said, it was great, and it'd be great to bring it back, for a little while, or forever, or whatever. I think it's definitely well needed, especially now, because things are really, really changing now.
Yes. So you're maybe the fifth guest who has had that sentiment, like alumni. You're like alumni who has said the exact thing, like we need to bring it back. And I'm just like, hey, I have the blueprint. You guys take the lead. I'm good.
Right.
You guys are adults now. So come on, acting as an avocation / hobby, or a vocation, or all of the above. How do you view those?
So I've heard both, like from people. I've heard people say, you know, acting is a hobby versus it not being a hobby. I personally take acting serious, very, very serious. And it's nothing really to play with. And I don't think everybody necessarily can do it. Why? Because there's different things for people to do in this world, and your calling is your calling. So we need nurses, we need actors, we need doctors, lawyers, teachers, people to ride the bus, people to work for McDonald's, cleanup crew, you know, so stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And you'll know your lane when you know your lane, because if you're passionate about it, or you're either not going to be passionate about it, or you don't really know your passion, but you know you're a good work ethic person. You know, because I know there's not people's passion that wants to work at McDonald's, but it might be, you know. But I think it can be a little bit of both. However, I challenge people when it comes to them saying it as a hobby, because or they think that they can just do it, wake up and just do it. Because no, you can't just wake up and do surgery on somebody.
Right.
You got to go to school, surgery, medical school for years to learn, to really be trained. So I feel like that with actors, you have to really be trained to really be, you know, a good actor. Same thing with a doctor. I mean, with a lawyer, you have to go to law school to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
So when people think that, you know, just acting, you could just wake up and just do it, I just be like, it's very disrespectful, you know, especially to the people that put hours and hours of training, constantly putting themselves out there, constantly, you know, studying monologues and scripts and scenes, and really giving their all to it. So when people like challenge me and say, oh, you should have never went to school to get a theater degree or whatever, it's just like, that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And you can't take that away. It's my education. I went to school for experience. It wasn't just to get a job or to get a career. It's for experience.
Yes.
And it wasn't just to, you know, to make money. It's to do what I was, you know, passionate about. And just like you went to do what you wanted to do, if you want to go to truck driving school or whatever kind of training, whatever that you're doing, you had to do something. That's what you chose to do. So
yeah, I mean, I hear you, bro. I hear you, and I agree largely with what you say. Like, there are specialized skill sets for certain disciplines, right? For certain professions, and you have to hone your craft, right? Because there are adverse effects when you don't. You know, sometimes you could blemish the profession. You know what I mean? Yeah, so we have to. Personally, I believe that we should definitely work on our craft.
Yes.
So if we have multiple crafts, we should work on those.
Yes.
I also believe that, you know, it's not good to work harder for someone else than you work for yourself. You know, it's okay to have a 9 to 5, but I just challenge people to also have something that you've created that you're working just as hard on.
I agree. You know?
I agree.
Like if you, like for example, you know, if you do hair, you know, at a shop or something, why not do hair at home or something? That's a business.
Or develop a hair care product at home. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That you recommend all the time, or create that. Same thing for actors. That's what I did. You know, I'm an actor. However, I created the business, the Actor Advisor, on helping people, upcoming people, to get signed to agencies so that they can audition and, you know, get out there in the field. I prepare them with a consultant of making sure they have professional headshots. Resume is good. If they don't have any experience, I send them to filmmakers that they can go work with. And if they don't have like any training, I send them schools to go to. Here's workshops to go to, and get them their full package so they can be ready to present it to agents. And then the agent wants to sign them, they can go on out of their way. So that's what I did.
Yeah, man, hey man, that's so dope, man. That's so dope, and you know, there are so many of us who are like immensely proud of you, man. Just really proud. So, can you tell the world some of the because we're not all heavily familiar with the genres of acting.
Yeah.
The world, some of the genres of actors.
So are you saying like as far as like the different kinds of acting?
Yes, like you have people who might just do voiceovers, right?
Yeah.
You have people who might do stage plays on.
Yeah.
You have people in film, people in video.
Yeah.
That's what I mean by some of the genres.
Okay. Yeah. So there's voiceover, which I just got into. There's some people that just do strictly voiceover, whether it's for ads, doing a narrator for a book. Like if you hear audio books of people, voiceover commercials. There's some people that you might see in the commercials that's not the voice of them, but it might, you'll think that that's them, but sometimes it don't be them. It might be a certain person, which is dope. And there's animation voiceover people that do like voices for, you know, Lion King and The Simpsons and Family Guy and like all those shows. So I just dipped into that because when everything was shut down, all the voiceover people was making money. And so I ended up getting a home studio to do that, so I can be able to be right on that roster, you know. So there's voiceover, there's theater actors. I've never done a play. I've never done a play. I've always wanted to, but at Simeon they didn't have like anything as far as like with plays, not that I can remember, because I was looking for it. And then after School Matters, I was gonna do it. But then I got kind of scared. And I thought that you had to know how to sing, you know, because usually that's what I would see like it plays. And that's what the musical theater actors too. There's a difference too from just theater and musical theater. So those are the people that do Broadway and sing. And then you have your TV and film actors for the people that just, in TV, it's real fast. It's real quick. You know, you have what's called a co-star. Those are the people that just come in, say their lines, and then they're out. Then you have a guest star. It goes around them. The story goes around them. They may be like, maybe like 2 or 3 episodes. Recurring, those are the people that come in like every other episode. And then the series regulars are the ones that's always on there. Those are the leads. So then you have your commercial actors too, who just strictly do commercials. Those 30-second commercials, and commercials make really, really good money, especially national commercials. And so yeah, we got stage, voiceover, TV, film, commercial, and then like industrial videos too. This kind of like in the commercials. So basically like the people that, you know, explain whatever it is that's going on, like if they're giving direction or something like that. So yeah, those are the genres. And I enjoy most I would say right now I'm in the commercial world. I'm in a commercial world, and I love voiceover. Like, I would love to be one of the voices for like Lion King one day, and just like really, because it's fun. It's really fun. So
you sound like you really know your profession, because you just learned a lot. You described.
Yeah. And there's a whole lot more. And that's where people just, they be like, how do I be an extra? I just want to just be in, walk past the camera and stuff like that. I'm just like, is that all you want to do? It's just walk past anybody. Now, anybody can walk past the camera, but then it's some people that really can't even do that. Oh, wow. They be real extra. Like they say, walk past the camera, and they and
they get thirsty. They get thirsty.
And it's like, that's not, you're not being seen. You're just being walked past the camera.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: who would you put on your Mount Rushmore of actors?
As far as like top?
Yeah, it's your personal Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Actors.
Of course, Denzel. Of course, Denzel.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like Denzel. I like Will Smith. Okay. I like Jamie Foxx, honestly. And I know I'm going like all black, and so I'm pro-black. So it is what it is.
Hey,
we're gonna keep it real up on here.
Yes.
Although I'm not racist or nothing like that, but I just love my black actors. I love my black people.
Yes.
As far as females, Angela Bassett, Viola Davis, Taraji Henson. I would say those are it right now for me. That I'm just like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great list.
All award-winning, actors that's very diverse, and they're not just stuck with just one kind of acting. Jamie Foxx, Will Smith, as they can go from comedy to drama. And I love that, because that's something that I do, go from comedy and drama. So I just like look up to them, and like somebody like Taraji, we have the same birthday.
Yeah. So I saw you in some pictures with her as well.
Yeah. Taraji, she's just like everything. Like, I just love her hustle. Yeah. She's just like, she means business. She does not play about acting. Like, she just like train. I watch her videos. I watch her all the time. She's like, train, do what it is that you need to do. Hollywood didn't give me a chance. This person gave me a chance. Tyler Perry paid her her worth, and then once they found that out, then they gave her worth, and that's what I'm like. That's where I'm at right now.
Yes.
Seeing that.
So here's a little irony. You remember Nosa Body, right?
Yes.
Nosa's pursuing acting as well. He's in New York right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I had Nosa on the podcast. I asked Nosa the very same question that I just asked you about his Mount Rushmore. Okay. Interestingly enough, Nosa said Denzel. Nosa said Will Smith.
Wow.
Right? And I think your third was a comedian, Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
His third was a comedian, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, okay. Wow.
That's dope.
That's crazy.
That is dope.
That is crazy.
Yes, absolutely happened. There's
wow
of that. I have the footage.
Wow. So boom, there it is.
Yeah, it is, right?
Wow, that's crazy.
So let me ask you, what do you read? Are you doing any reading?
Currently, no, and that's crazy because I was reading, then I stopped, and I need to get back to it. So I'm glad that you asked that because I need to order some books. Okay. And just not with just like acting books. I need to like order some like books on just like mental health and financial awareness and just things about just like life, just to keep me like ahead of things. Yes. So keeping me on track. So
speaking of financial literacy, we also had Sierra White on, who was a part of the youth program.
Okay.
She's now an accountant. And,
okay.
And she's developed a financial literacy, what do you call it? Consulting company.
Okay.
Right? As well as being the producer of this podcast. You didn't know that, but she's also of this podcast. She owns a Red Mango. She just bought her first property. And she's originally from Chicago. She's only 24 years old. So
that's what's up.
So we want the world to see this, right? We don't want to allow people to create our narrative for us and only show one side, right? We want to see this and know this, okay? So music, man. What kind of music you listening to? Who are some of your favorite artists you listen to?
Okay, yeah. So I've been listening to Drake. Okay. Drake is like big #1 fan. Drake. I've been listening to like some Justin Bieber and stuff lately.
Like that last album he put out.
Yeah.
Where he has Chance on there.
Yeah, Chance.
I actually, and some of my friends was like laughing at me. I'm like, no, you need to listen to the album. He scored a lot.
Yeah.
He can actually sing. I like that.
He can. Yeah. I'm really into R&B. Like I just love some R&B. I think I'm a singer myself. I just be like singing all the time in the shower with my friends. They just be, and they don't say nothing too. They got used to it now. But I enjoy listening to like her and
her is dope.
Yeah, her is everything.
Yes.
I just be like, man, she's so creative and she's young and just winning these awards. Like, I'm just like, she deserves it. Yeah, she deserves it.
Yeah.
She deserves it.
So how do you presently view the world as we see it today?
How do I presently view the world? The world is controlling. And I feel like sometimes there's nothing we can do about it. But just listen. And even if you are listening, somebody's going to tell you that you're not listening. If that makes sense. It might go over some people's head that's gonna watch this.
Well, no, that's bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna go over a lot of people's heads. They're gonna be, what is he talking about? So I want you to sit back and listen, viewers. Yeah. But it's crazy. But it's what you make it. Some people are not going to understand where you come from. You're not going to understand where they come from. So you have to be, it goes back to the very beginning of me, open-minded, listen more than you talk. Be willing to learn. You don't always have to agree.
Right.
on what the world wants you to do or say. You don't have to agree. But I do think that you need to respect animals, respect plants. And it's crazy because I wouldn't be saying this like 10 years ago. I'd just be like, it is what it is. F the world. And, you only live once. And it's just like, but like each and every day, and throughout these past 2 years, honestly, I'm just like, my eyes are open like more. So just keep your eyes open and live your day every day like it's your last, and remind people that you love them, even if you went through something, or if you're going through something. If you into it with people, life is short. Life is so short. And now that I'm thinking about it now, like, it's a bunch of times where I just want to just go back and tell my loved ones, like, thank you for everything, or I love you, or I miss you. And it's just like, life is really, really short. You only have one life.
Yes. So I don't know if you remember when during the time of the youth program, at the height of it, we did this big event in Washington Park at the Washington Park Forum. Right? Mm-hmm. And as you were talking, I couldn't but think of some of the elders who were like 70, 80, and even 90 years old, right? And they were in full support of us and what we were doing in the community. But they would say some of the very same things. And as you're talking, I'm thinking about your development. Like, he's saying respect the plants and respect the animals, and life is about love, and all of these things that they would say, right? And that they would teach us as elder mentors, right? And it's just wonderful to see that come back full circle, man. And so we're gonna end now, but we have this fan favorite, the final section of our podcast, where we allow our guests to tell a story of their choice, right? And the section of this podcast is called Bring Some Weed, I Got a Story to Tell. Smoke. Right? And so now is your time, a story of your choice.
Okay. Let me think. Okay. So I would think about I don't know why this popped up, but there's a time where I was walking from the barbershop. And I was no, I'm not going to tell this story. There's a story. This is the better story. I was at the Greyhound station, and I discovered that I didn't have my wallet. And the Greyhound was about to, everybody was time to hop on. So I was so upset. I'm like, I left my money, I'm going out. I was thinking I was going out to Alabama for just a weekend, or something like that. And there's this lady walked up to me out of nowhere. Like, I was sitting there like crying. I'm like, man, I got my money. I can't call nobody, And she walked up to me and she handed me $100, and she gave me some food. And she was like, God told me to give you this. And I was just like, where did this lady come from? Seriously, where did this lady come from? And I was I was so shocked. And I was like, thank you so much. I was like, you really, really like made my weekend. I'm like, I lost my wallet. Like I was hungry. I didn't have any money for no food. And she brought me food and gave me money. She was an older lady from Indiana. She told me that she's in the church and she had the family. And she was like, she saw me over there, like kind of worried. And she was like, she knew. So she went over there and gave me the money and bought me food. And I got her number and I saved it. Like it was just so much going on in my mind. And I forgot her name in my phone. So I wanted to contact her and like she prayed like before I got on the bus and everything. And I was just like, right then and there, I was like, yeah, God is real.
Yeah, great story. Great story. So
yeah.
hopefully that guardian angel will see this podcast and recognize you and be able to get in touch with you through us. So
yes.
Great story.
That would be great.
Yes. So this concludes today's episode of Chicago's Intellectuals podcast. I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you for having a great time with us. And until next time, signing off.
Peace.
All right.